Scared versus fear. Are you afraid or just scared? Just asking that question brings up the most feared childhood insult of all, being called a scaredy cat. To my best recollection, scaredy cat was used interchangeably with fraidy cat. Whichever title, though, the meaning was clear. You lacked courage. But, as Eddie Rickenbacker says, there can be no courage unless you're scared. Now, whether you call it feeling afraid or feeling scared, the end result is the same: fear. And fear is an emotional response to a perceived danger. As humans, we have an ingrained response to danger, both real and perceived. It's called the fight-or-flight response. It kept our species alive in cave-dwelling times, so in the survival of the fittest sense, we are the offspring of the fittest. This is good news. Today, however, since we don't have to run from real lions and tigers and bears, oh no! The key operative word here is perceived dangers, or in other words, false expectations appearing real. Aristotle put it this way: fear is the pain arising from the anticipation of evil. The bad news? If we continually entertain fear thoughts, we keep ourselves in a perpetual state of flight or fight response. That's basically what stress is. And stress does nasty things to your body. Why? Well, because our bodies were not designed to live in fear. The good news, though, is that there is another choice. When you boil it all down, there are basically only two emotions: fear and love. And we already know what fear does. It keeps us basically stuck. Love, on the other hand, opens us up to possibilities, and it feels a whole heck of a lot better. Dan Baker, Ph.D., says, fear impels us to survive, and love enables us to thrive. Dr. Baker explains in his book, What Happy People Know, fear is hardwired into every part of our being. It's the product of the reptilian brain, the earliest developed part of our brain. Love, though, is a product of the neocortical higher brain, which developed later. And there is a continual dance going on between these two parts of our brain, the dance between fear and love. Now, of course, there are many forms of love, but in our search for happiness, as Dr. Baker says, the quality of love that matters the most is appreciation. This is the highest and purest form of love. He says, when you enter into an active condition of appreciation, whether over something as common as a sunset or as profound as the love in your child's eyes, your normal world stops and a state of grace begins. And the best news of all is that our brain simply cannot be in a state of fear and a state of appreciation at the same time. It's neurologically impossible. Sure, you can dance between them, alternating between a slow dance and a jived-up jitterbug, if you wish, but essentially the two, fear and love, are mutually exclusive. So how do you move into appreciation when you're in the middle of fear? Here are some suggestions. Go take a walk in nature. Breathe the clean air and listen to the birds. Enjoy the scenery. Appreciate all of these things as you walk. Now, if you're really in a foul mood, you can start by appreciating your legs and your body and just your ability to move around. Go pet your cat or play with your dog. Appreciate their unconditional love and acceptance. Go give your child a hug and just appreciate them for how wonderful they are. Now, if you can't go outside or move away from your surroundings, look around you and find something to appreciate. Then look around again and find something else to appreciate. Make appreciation a habit, because the more you look for things to appreciate, the more you'll find to appreciate. The point is, whatever you call it, fear or just being scared, getting into that appreciation habit can help you get out of the non-courageous stuck place and into a higher feeling state which propels you to move forward. Just think, What if you said no to the fear dance and made appreciation, this good feeling quality of love, your default dance? There are very few monsters who warrant the fear we have of them, as Andre Gide says. But as Bruce Lipton, Ph.D., who wrote The Biology of Belief, says, letting go of our fears is the first step toward creating a fuller, more satisfying life. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "It was a high counsel that I once heard given to a young person, always do what you're afraid to do." Jewel, the singer, says, "The things you fear are undefeatable, not by their nature, but by your approach." How do you approach fear? If you want to go deeper and reach higher, next time you're feeling afraid, scared, look and see what's underneath the fear. Ask yourself these questions. Take some time to write down your thoughts and feelings. This can help you gain clarity and insights that you could otherwise miss. Writing down our thoughts and feelings, it slows down the thinking mind and allows the subconscious mind to speak. It also helps us listen from the inside, which is a fundamental component of self-growth and an essential part of self-care. Ask yourself these questions. What are you really feeling? Appreciation, uncertainty, overwhelm? Make a list. And once you have your list, choose one of those feelings and ask, what message does this feeling have for you? What is it trying to tell you? Perhaps you need more information, or you need to learn a new skill, or maybe develop some new habits. What would help you release this fear or other feeling from your list? And sometimes, you just have to feel the fear and do it anyway. What action step can you take, even if it's a small baby step, that would help you move through this fear or whatever this feeling is that's holding you back? To fear is one thing. To let fear grab you by the tail and swing you around is another. Anything I've ever done that ultimately was worthwhile initially scared me to death. I know that's true for me. So, are you afraid, or are you just scared? The important question, though, is, will you let this fear hold you back, or will you let it propel you to move forward?